welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial, this glam look. This is pretty glam. Because of the studio lights, you won't be able to tell quite as intense as this look is. So this is a very glam look in real life. I look glam, I would perform in this look. But this look is very glam, very full out. I love it. It's great. So this look is for Grace. She's one of my Instagram followers. She was also one of my kids at kids camp a long time ago, and now she is a beautiful young woman, and so I advertised doing a tutorial for whoever. They just had to send me a forward photo of themselves with no makeup and no edits on it, and that I would make them a tutorial. And so she was my first taker. This is the first tutorial catered for someone, and so this is Grace's glam tutorial, and I hope you enjoy this, Grace. I am so glad to have you in my group. First off, I'm going to start by going in with this face lotion. It's by Mary Kay. This is the Botanical Effects Moisturizing Gel. So I'm going to start off with putting this moisturizing gel on, and even though we're about to do our eyes first, I find putting the lotion on really just helps your skin have enough moisture before you go in, and it's good for your skin, especially when you live in Wyoming where it's so dry. So as you can see now, I kind of look like a raccoon because I've made my face a little bit red, and I still have powder on my lids. So what I've already done is I have prepped my eyelids, and so what I did was I took the e.l.f. eye primer. This is in the shade Sheer. Then over the top of my eye primer, I set it down with the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer in the shade Fair. And then I set it down with a brush and some Maybelline Fit Me loose powder. My eyelids get oily, so I use the primer first and foremost to keep my eyeshadows lasting longer. I use the concealer to go over the top to hide any lines that I have. Like I have like a little blue line that tries to go here, you know, veins inside my body. And so I cover that up. And then to set it down so it's not creasing, I go in with a finishing powder or like a skin color eyeshadow. So if you had an eyeshadow that is like the bone color or whatever your skin tone is, that is going to be really good to set down too, so you don't get any lines here when you close your eyes. Because if you use like an airbrushed finishing powder, it actually makes it so your eyeshadows won't go on top. So if I were to go in with, this is a translucent loose powder by Mary Kay, and I love this, but if I use it to set down my eyelids, the eyeshadows won't stay on my lid. So you have to use something that kind of has that, not chalky consistency, but it's not like smooth like the airbrush finishing powders. It has a real powder formula, and that's why sometimes just a bone color eyeshadow is even better. So it's just up to you and what you have. I did my brows with the e.l.f. brow pencil, and this one is in the shade, this is in the shade Taupe. I'm running out of both of these, and these are the two that I've been enjoying lately, are both by e.l.f. eyebrow pencils. This one is in neutral brown, and this is more of a precision one. Then afterwards, I put a little bit of wax on my brow hairs, and then I used a spoolie to kind of comb it out. This wax, I didn't know this is what it was going to be like because I wanted a brow wax that was like on a spoolie. This is not on a spoolie. So it's a little weird, but it is very waxy, and you run a spoolie through it and it holds your brows in place, so that is pretty cool. I'll give it that. So next I'm going to go in. I have 3 different palettes picked because I wasn't really sure what you have, and so I'm going to try to make this glam look with a combination of colors. So just pick colors that look similar. You do not have to have these eyeshadow palettes, by no means, but I'm going to just show you as I go. I'm going to go in with this lovely palette by Alamar Cosmetics. And this is their volume 1. This is my favorite eyeshadow palette that I own. It's amazing. For the sake of trying to pick something affordable for a young lady like yourself, I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild crease brush. This is a large crease brush. I did just use it like yesterday, and I have not cleaned it yet, so I apologize for the little bit of pigment that's on it. It is important to clean your brushes. It helps with application. It helps keeping the bacteria out, and it just makes everything blend so much better. It only has a little bit of pigment on it, so I'm not too worried, but do wash your brushes on a regular basis. So first off, I'm going to take this shade called Cocoa Taxi, and I'm going to use this as a transition, and I'm going to just spin my brush in that, tap it off for any excess, and then I'm going to go into the crease of my lid. Now, with your lids, you have similar lids to me that you have nice hooded eyes. You're not gonna go in this area right here. You're gonna go like a little bit above the crease even. Your lid creases right here. And instead of going in that crease, you're gonna go like that crease and up a little bit. So you're gonna go up over on this area where you feel that bone right here. And you're gonna drag that in back and forth in windshield wiper motions. And then just buff it out so you don't have any harsh lines anywhere. So I'm adding just a little bit more in that area to kind of enhance it. And then I'm buffing it out again. Dragging it up a little bit, so instead of being just in that crease, you want to drag it up your lid a little bit. And if you have a different eye shape and you're watching this, just do it as your eye, particularly if you have a crease that you can just do it in the crease, do that. If not, if you have eyes kind of like I do, you can drag it up a little bit to about here and like let it begin to fade out. So you're in your crease, but then you begin to fade it out up towards the top. I'm now going to switch to, you can use any brush, once again, continue using whatever brushes you already have. And I'm going to take, this is an Alamar Cosmetics brush from their Ojito trio. This is the crease brush. I'm going to go in with, I'm going to switch palettes. And I'm going to go into the Ace Beauty palette. And I'm going to open it up and go into this shade right here. This shade is called Cinnamon, and it's kind of a warmish brown. I mean, it's like a little bit lighter than the actual color of cinnamon. This is called Cinnamon. This is like the Instagram color version of cinnamon. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it right in the outer V of my eye. I mean, I'm not doing a V right now. I'm just doing like a diagonal. See, diagonaling right in the outer corner. And then I'm going to slowly buff that into the outside of the crease. Now we're going to add another shadow, so I'm going to get a little bit more, but I'm going to pack that on there in a little farther. So now I kind of have a line actually. You've got this line and it's covering about 1/3 of my lid. Maybe a little under 1/3. Then I'm going to take anything remaining on the brush and just blend out the area in the crease where we had that our first original color, except doing it more on the outer half of the eye instead of going clear in like we did with the first shade. Blending it up as it fades off the brush. Next, I'm going to go back into the Alamar Cosmetics palette into this shade called Cafecito, and it is a very dark brown. I'm going to take a slightly more precise crease brush. This is by Luxie. This is the Luxie Mini Tapered Brush, and I'm going to take that Cafecito shade and I'm going to go on just the very outer edge. So I'm going into that V like we did originally, but I'm going to buff it into just the outside, and I'm not going to take it in as far as that cinnamon shade we already used. I'm going to take a slight bit on the brush, don't get too much because these are, you don't want too much pigment. You want to be able to build up to it instead of getting a ton on and then not being able to take it off. So then I'm going to drag it up the lid, blend it out up here. Then I'm going to bring it up a little higher, up towards the brow. Alright, so I'm bringing that in just a little. I'm continuing to blend these shades in over a little bit. Now I'm going to switch back to the Ace Beauty palette, and I'm going to take this shade called Patchouli. Ooh, this shade is not as light as I wanted. Shoot, son of a biscuit. Hold on, I gotta make a match now. I didn't want to do that. We're gonna fix it though. I'm going to go into my, please have a super light color. Alright, we're going to go into the e.l.f. Mad for Mattes palette. This really light shade right here. And I'm going to take and wipe off the brush that I just used. And then I'm going to take that super light, the lightest shade in there and go back over where I just was to lighten up You want your lightest color up by your brow because that highlights it. You want to highlight under your brow. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to drag it down under here, under the rest of the brow, but just right under the brow, so you're just kind of highlighting that brow. I'm going to take my crease brush from earlier and blend a little bit. Alright, now we're going to go back into the Ace Beauty palette and we're going to take this shade called Jasmine. So anything that you have that's really, really sparkly and that same kind of bone color. So you just want sparkles that are very like skin toned. You don't want it to be pink. You don't want it to have some weird hue. You want it to be basically your skin tone but way sparklier. And I'm just putting that under the arch of the brow. And I'm blending it out a little bit so it doesn't look like a weird stripe. Alright, now we're going to go back into that Alamar Cosmetics palette. I know it's goofy that I'm flipping back and forth so much. I'm just trying to make a specific look. You don't have to switch between these palettes. I could make just as glam of a look with just this palette. But I'm just trying to have a little fun, give you some ideas. So I'm going to go into this shade called e.l.f. How do I say that? e.l.f. Something like that. And this is a shimmer shade, and this is so foiled, so incredible. You're about to get lit with glitter. And I'm going to take my finger, and I'm going to begin to apply that to my lid. And if you'd like to, you can dampen these shimmer shades in this palette. You can like spray your brush, spray your finger to make it even more foiled. I find that you can build it up to a pretty darn foiled effect as it is. You just kind of have to layer it on there. So I'm slowly layering that up. And I'm doing that just on the other 2/3 of the lid that are not covered with shadow at the moment. And then I'm just bringing it up towards the crease. Look at that. The edge of my finger is so sparkly. I could even put that on to highlight. Look at that. Whoop! Oh, that's intense. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. Now, I'm going to take a brush with a flat edge, and you can get this wet if you so desire. And it's like a flat packing brush, and I'm going to take that same shade, and I'm going to try to make somewhat of a line with it. So you don't have to be totally precise. You could do a cut crease if you so desired. I'm not going to do like, I'm basically doing a cheater cut crease. Alright, so I'm a little bit wet on my brush. And I'm going to go back into that shade. See, you're getting like a similar effect to a cut crease without having to put the concealer down first. If you so desire, you can though. It's up to you. Whatever you like, do you. I am not trying to flip you off. It just so happens that this seems to be a great foiled eyeshadow applicator. Then I'm going to go back into the Ace Beauty palette in that cinnamon shade. I'm going to use the same brush I used for that. And I'm going to just blend it into the outer area of that sparkle. Just ever so lightly blending into the outer sparkle. I'm taking a little packed brush to just kind of blend that in. Blend them together. You can still have a line on this. That's kind of the effect of it. Like, you don't have to blend this to a seamless line if you don't want to, because it's two different shades entirely. But I am trying to blend them a little bit, and then you are getting a bit of a line. Then I'm going to take my finger and just drag the sparkles over the line just a bit. Alright, so I actually had to rush my husband to the doctor, so it's actually numerous hours later, after the doctor, after medications, after making dinner, after all kinds of things, and I'm here at almost, what time is it? It is 8:51, and I haven't run yet. I'm going to take my shower, and I'm just going to do my makeup first anyways for the purpose of this video. So we're going to take off where we left off. I'm going to go back into, I got some junk on it, whoops, the Alamar Cosmetics palette. And I'm going to go back into that Cafecito shade. And I'm going to be taking the Eco Tools Precision Lip Brush. I know that sounds silly because it's a lip brush, but it works really well for like underlining your eyes. Under the eye. And you're going to bring it into about probably about almost half of your under eye. I'm going to drag it up a little bit into these shadows and then blend it into them just a bit so we make sure that it's very cohesive. My eyeshadow was probably a little bit more intense earlier, being that it's so much later in the day right now. Okay. I'm going to go into the Ace Beauty palette again, and I'm going to take that cinnamon shade we were using earlier, and I'm going to take the same precision brush I was using. You can switch if you so desire, but because I'm just blending them, I'm not too worried. And I'm going to put that one directly on the middle of the under eye. Okay. I'm going to switch brushes. I'm going to take this Mary Kay eye smudging brush, and I'm going to take that jasmine shade we used earlier on the arch of a brow. I'm just kind of intensifying that a little bit since, you know, for me, once again, it's been a while. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to go in the inner corner. And then I'm going to take the Precision Lip one more time. And I'm going to take the first shade we went in, which was this Cocoa Taxi shade. And it's kind of the mustard color. Well, an oranger version of mustard. And I'm just going to drag that right there. Right on the inner third of the eye. And then I'm going to flip it over and take the e.l.f, however you say that one, that we put all over the lid, and I'm just going to drag that over the top. So it just kind of matches the upper lid with a little bit of sparkle. Then I'm going to put some of that on the inner corner too, right there, just intensifying that. Now we're going to go in with the Wet n Wild. And I've used it enough times it doesn't even say. It's the Kohl Crayon pour les yeux. Pour les yeux. So I mean for the eyes, probably. Color Loon Kohl eyeliner. I can't really tell. It's so worn off. And this is in the shade Coca. And so I'm going to take that. It's a nice big long eyeliner pencil. And I'm going to take and line the whole top of my lid. But I'm going to go nice and thin. I don't want to go too thick. And I am kind of pulling out here. I always do that, but I'm not pulling hard. I'm not hurting myself. Don't worry. I'm going to take that and I'm going to drag it just on the bottom, just on the outer third of the eye. I'm not going to go very far. I'm just kind of blending it in just to deepen up that outer third. Then I'm going to take it and I'm going to drag it up from the bottom, so it's like the bottom would continue up. And then I'm going to take and draw it over to our other line and then fill in anything in between. I'm going to take a makeup wipe now. So these are just the ones I have on hand. These are Sensitive Skin Cleansing Wipes by, who knows, some generic brand. But I'm testing them out. So far so good. They don't hurt my skin at all thus far. I'm going to take one of those and I'm just going to put it around the tip of my finger and I'm going to drag it out like this. We're going to create a nice line for our shadow. Look at that. It's like almost as precise as if I had tape right there. Okay, and we're going to go onto the face before we add mascara and such. I'm going to take that lotion I used earlier, the Mary Kay Botanical Effects moisturizing gel, and I'm just going to put that on kind of as a primer right now. Smooth that onto my face. And now we're gonna pick a primer. I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer, and I'm going to apply that on my face and just put it on with my hands. Nothing fancy. I actually like this primer. I used this on my wedding day and I thought it looked really good. It kind of fills in your pores, gives it a nice smooth finish, and makes your skin feel like one surface instead of like bumpy. It gives it like a nice canvas. Next, considering that I was asked to make this a glam look, instead of doing what I would normally do, I'm going to go in with a more full coverage, affordable foundation. This is the Glamouflage Invisible Camouflage Foundation. This is by Hard Candy, and I actually really, really like this foundation. So even though this kind of smells funny, if I remember correctly. It does smell a little bit funny. I actually really like this. It wears well on my skin for like all day. It actually, for an oily girl and a full coverage foundation, this did pretty good for me. I have actually really loved this, and I've worn this when I've wanted to look really flawless. And that's pretty amazing for, I think this is somewhere between $7 to $10, I think, which isn't bad for a full coverage foundation. Okay, so I'm gonna take my beauty blender and I'm gonna start patting that onto my face after putting it on the edge of my hand. My beauty blender is like not as wet as it used to be right now because I haven't gone to re-wet it because my husband's asleep in the other room and I don't want to wake him up. My Eco Tools, oh no, it's so on the end of its life. I need a new one, but I can't find the same one. When this gets swelled up, it's like this big, beautiful, amazing sponge, and I love this sponge so much because even when it's not totally wet, it's still like really good, but I can't find this same sponge anymore. I think Eco Tools might have discontinued it. So you can see how good that is. Like, I don't know if you can see this on camera or not, but look, this side looks so beautiful, so full coverage, and then here's my normal face. Like, you can still see my red kind of stuff, my freckles, stuff like that. Gee, I'm gonna look so good to run on the treadmill. So if you've never used a beauty blender usually, or a beauty sponge, I always assume people know this, but you take it and you run it under water, and that's how you clean it too. And you let it soak up and get kind of big, and you wring it out so it's still damp, but it's not, you know, wet. And that's what helps you get a really skin-like finish when you apply your makeup, because it kind of soaks up some of the pigment, and so it applies just so much more like your skin. It's kind of amazing. Like, this invention was a great one. So make sure to always get by your hairline. You don't want to, if your foundation doesn't really match your skin tone perfectly because it's like summer or it's just a shade too light, your hairline, you want to make sure it is near your hairline and it's going to blend in instead of looking like you just have this horrible line all the way around your face, because then it's really going to be noticeable and people are going to be like, oh snap, she didn't blend her makeup in, or wow, her makeup is the wrong color. I mean, it just makes it look so much more like you have makeup on. And even though, yeah, people are going to be able to tell we have makeup on, you want to make it look like, I don't know, you want it to look as least like makeup as you can, so it still looks like, wow, she looks beautiful, instead of, dang, she got a lot of makeup on. So that dries down pretty matte, nice and full coverage. I'm going to set my under eyes really quick. I'm going to take the e.l.f. under eye setting powder. I just got this and I'm trying it out. Yesterday it seemed to have a really nice airbrushed effect. Okay. So I'm going to make sure I don't have any creases before I set it down, because if you set down a crease, that is a horrible idea. I'm going to take my brush, tap it off, and place this on the under eye to set it down. Now that we are looking full coverage fine, everything else I'm going to use is powder, so I'm going to set down my face. So I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me loose powder. This is the loose finishing powder, and this one is in the shade, I don't think it's the, this is in Fair Light, and I need a lighter one, but this is the one I purchased earlier in the summer, so now I need to switch to a lighter one, but this one will work for tonight. I'm going to go in with the Real Techniques powder brush, and I'm going to take that, I'm going to tap off the excess, and I'm just going to like bounce it onto the skin. I don't want to swipe yet, because then you risk moving the liquid underneath. So you're just bouncing it into the skin on top of your liquid. And make sure to tap off any excess each time. Unless you're looking to bake, then that's different. You can bake, but I don't really bake my under eyes because they're too dry. So if I baked under there, then I come out looking like crispy. For my family that loves me and doesn't know a ton about the makeup industry, if you're watching this, baking is a process where you have your powder and you take your blender or your brush and you put an excessive amount onto it and you let it set and stain the skin basically, and then you brush it away. So let's say we'll take this brush right here. I'm going to tap off some and I'm just going to take it like this. You can't really see it very well. So you would put an excess amount of powder. See how you can kind of see the powder there? And this is where an area where I want my face to be lighter. So I would take a light powder and I would set it here. This is not light enough for this example, but I'm trying. So I'd put more than I need here, and then I'm gonna leave it there, and then I'll come back and dust it off, and it just like locks it on there and keeps it nice and light, and you really notice the difference of where you put that on there and left it to sit. A lot of people bake their under eyes for a really nice lightened eye effect. So then after that, after you let it set for a minute, you dust it away like this, and then it kind of leaves that area lighter. That was a horrible example. You can't even see it on this camera. What's we going to do? We're going to take the Real Techniques blush brush, and we're going to go in with, we're going to take the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. You can see it's very well loved and falling apart now. And I'm going to take that and dust it into the cheekbone area. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And then I'm going to take it down just around the corner of my jaw and brush it onto the bottom of my jaw. Around the corner of my jaw and down on the jaw. Down the neck a little bit to take out any extra pigment and blend it together. And then I'm going to go onto my forehead. My camera did the stupid stop thing again. So I'm just dragging it on the where my nose begins to tip over on both sides. Under the nose, up towards the brow. Blend. Okay, now we're going to switch to a contour. I'm going to go in with the Mary Kay contour in the shade Latte, and this is my new favorite thing ever. Like, if I didn't have bronzer, I would just use this. This stuff is from God above. It's so good. This is in my 2018 favorites video that will come out soon. I'm going to take that with the blush brush, and I'm going to go in to the cheekbones once again. And this just deepens up your contour, brings out those cheekbones. Make sure you blend it out so you don't have crazy goofy lines. And you don't want to use too much. I mean, if you're just beginning to learn, err on the side of less instead of a ton, because if you don't do it right and you have a ton on your face, it's going to be super noticeable. I take that, warm up the head a little bit more around the head because I got a big honking forehead. You know, it's because I got so much brain up top. Yeah, right. That's okay. Blending that in. This is just such a perfect contour color for my skin. Ah, I love it. It's going to be so goofy if Matt's not asleep and he's sitting out there in the living room laughing at me talk about makeup. Alright, now we're going to go in with some blush, and I'm conflicted. Do we want a sparkly blush or a matte blush? This is kind of pinky. I don't have very many blushes. A peachy blush would be better right now. We're going to go with this blush. My Blush Brush by Danielle. You can find these at Ross's, sometimes TJ Maxx. And this is just an Avon blush. And I'm going to take that, tap it off, and apply that. I've seen so many bloggers or vloggers do it different ways. It's kind of up to your preference. I've seen people do it just right here on the apples of the cheeks. Gives you kind of a flirty, love-like vibe. And some people drag it up along like where their highlighter kind of is. Often when the blush has like a sparkle to it, people drag it up like the highlight too. But I'm just kind of blending it in. It's kind of subtle, like you can't totally tell that I'm wearing much. Oh gosh, my dog just shook her head and scared the tar out of me. Forgot she was in here. All right, let's do some highlight. My lips are so chapped right now. And I have the Ofra Highlighter Everglow. This is the Ofra times Nikki Tutorials. And I got this in the e.l.f. beauty box. And that box was so good. I gave a bunch of it away as Christmas presents, but I kept this and the Juvia's Place and the eyeliner. So I'm going to take my Luxie tapered highlighting brush and I'm going to go into these two shades right here. Since we're doing a glam look, I'm going to go for the full glam of these, and I'm mixing just these two. I'm going to tap it off and then I'm going to go on the tops of the cheekbone. That is nice. Then I'm going to take and I'm going to go up here above the brow. Then if you'd like, you can just kind of lightly go here, get that C shape going with what's left on it. You don't have to do that, but it's pretty popular to go around. I don't do too much because this is where a lot of where my acne scarring is, and sometimes highlighter and studio lights will bring out my acne scarring that was here. So it's better if I do like right here and right here instead of this C shape too, because it totally, I mean, I can see it right now bringing out my acne scars. Mostly because the studio lights are really harsh on that too. Go Cupid's bow. And we're gonna go on the nose. So I'm going down the center and then I'm gonna do the tip. Like right there. You see my nose? You see it? Somebody's delusional. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna go off course a little bit and I'm gonna put on the Revlon Kiss Plumping Lip Cream because my lips are kind of needing some love right now. They are dry from this climate. Plump them up a bit while we're finishing up. This is not a super intense plumper. It's like a much more natural plumper. My lips aren't gonna be like this afterwards. Like, I could never do that thing where people like suck their lips out so they're huge. Nope, not me. Not my style. These are my lips. Take them or leave them. Just kind of tingles a little bit. Nothing painful like some. Let's do our finishing powder. We're going to go in with the Mary Kay Translucent Loose Finishing Powder. And I'm going to dust that all over the face with, I use my Aesthetica P12 brush. This is my favorite brush and it like popped off the other day, so I need to like super glue it back on. Like this wood part came out. But this brush is just, it's from God above and I just use it more than any brush I have, so I'm trying to not kill it right now. So we're going to dust that all over the face just to kind of give us an airbrush look and blend everything together. You don't have to do this step, but I like it. It kind of is like a final finishing touch. If it takes down your highlighter more than you want, sometimes I like it because it blurs it down to look more matching to the skin and very blended. But if you want to, you can add a little more highlight afterwards. Ever so lightly if you think it caused your highlighter to fade. So I could just take my brush and go a little more, pop those out again. Let's do some mascara. I was trying to think of a mascara she would have, and I'm not entirely sure. So I'm going to go in with this one that I've never heard talked about. This is Colossal Volume by Maybelline, the Volume Express mascara. And I found this one day and loved it. So I don't know why no one talks about it because I really enjoy it. So we're going to go in with this one and use this. I love how big it's wanded. It's the stiff. So far I have loved this mascara. So I'm just going to take that and go to town. So now I'm going to go in with the Bodyography Barely There lip pencil. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to go along the top of my lip. And now when I drag it down, I'm actually going to bring it in right here instead of taking it out onto the edge of my lip. Because if I take it out, it makes my lips look like this. And if I bring it down, it's going to give them more of a centered, lush look. Lush, is that the right word? Forward kissable look. So I'm bringing it down like this. If you go like this, you'll feel it. Not everybody does this, but I kind of turn it on its side and make a thicker line. And then I'm going to come from in like this and then go down this way to make the lips look bigger. So I'm coming in, not out here, in here, down on the edge of the lip, and down again. I'm not one to really overline my lips, to be honest. I think if you don't overline your lips just right, you look like a goon. So, I don't know. I'm kind of like, these are my lips, and I go with it. But I can understand if you have really thin lips, learning to correctly overline them would be good. My lips are pretty thin, but you know, I don't have anything against them. They're not like, ugh. Okay, so I only outlined the outside. You can go ahead, you can choose to go ahead and fill them in. I'm not going to fill them in right now because they're really dry and I don't want to aggravate that at all. Now at this point, because your eyes are so intense, you could choose to do a nude lip or you could use a bold lip as well. It's kind of up to you. Both bold, or you can use like a nude natural lip. So you want that nude to match this instead of being like, see, I was going to use this nude color, but it's a little too pinky, too mauve, so I'm going to instead try the Odessa New York high definition liquid lipstick, and I'm going to apply this one. This is kind of dark but kind of natural still. Alright, so then I would go in with a setting spray. I would usually use the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, so because I want that long last, or I would suggest the Hard Candy. This is the Hard Candy Long Wear Sheer Envy setting spray. This is a really good setting spray for long wear, beautiful finish. I actually really enjoy this one, along with the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. Another one I think is awesome is the Rimmel Stay Matte Fix and Go. This is a primer and a finishing spray, and I think this is an absolutely awesome spray. Like, forever repurchase, going in my favorite video. But because I don't really use this one very much, I'm just going to use it tonight because I'm going to go run on the treadmill. I don't have to look that great. This is the Dewy Setting Spray by Beaute e.l.f. Makeup Setting Spray Luminous Mist. I need a handy fan. I think setting spray makes such a difference. It kind of takes away that powder look to your skin and makes it more skin-like all over again. I'm going to tap out any areas where there looks like there could be a water droplet because I don't want it to mess up that makeup. And it looks good. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention with this foundation is go sparingly in your smile lines, because this is one that will begin to crease in smile lines. So if you are a person that your smile lines crease instantly, you should definitely watch out for that and put a lot less in this area. Like, I can see that my smile lines like never crease. And it's beginning to get a little bit of a line here, and that is because I did add more and I forgot to think about that. So be wary of that. I know I'm in my sports clothes for this glam look, so forgive me on that account. Maybe I should go put something fancy on so you get more of the effect. So this is the final look, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful for you, Grace. And I'll do another one to kind of give you another option. I was thinking 2 looks today and I ended up kind of doing one, not the other. So I'll throw out another glam look for you. Make sure to come back and like and subscribe if you'd like to see me keep coming back and giving you more makeup tutorials. I actually have decided to do like makeup, life, and encouragement, so I'm kind of adding to my channel beyond just being a beauty guru. I decided I wanted to offer you guys a little bit more, so I'll give you like once a week vlogs, kind of like a look into my life, more of an insight into me beyond just makeup, and you can see how you can be a beautiful person and still be a down-to-earth person. You don't have to be this glam supermodel every day. I mean, you can be the supermodel that you are without all of this too. So I'm going to do that and give you guys some encouragement, because I feel like a lot of times on beauty channels, people bash like nobody's business. Like, people are sassy as all get out and people are rude and materialistic. It is so sad. And so I want to give you guys some encouragement and pour into you guys, because that's what I'm here for, not just me. So I want to make sure you guys get encouraged, you know, you're loved, you're cared for, and I love every single one of my subscribers, all 29 of you. I love you guys. Bye. let's get to the tutorial. Shut up, computer. Party with King who? King Julian. Da 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 da. Party King Julian. Da. Ba 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 ba. Am I out of focus when I come back here? I need a better viewfinder. I'm using such a redneck viewfinder. It says movie recording has been stopped automatically. Okay, why? I didn't tell you to stop automatically. You threw off my groove. I'm sorry, sir. You've thrown off the Emperor's groove. There was mascara in my eye. Oh. This was way more organized before I had to run to the doctor.